Welcome back to What Arty Noobs. This is a T1 Heavy. It's a Tier 5 American heavy tank. One of the first heavy tanks the Americans designed. This one's located on the southeast spawn of Mountain Pass, and it's under the command of Red Dog Alpha 1. Now he's got 3 marks on his barrel because he plays a lot of games, mostly on the, I think it's on the American server or the Australian server. But there's a lot of bots in the game, and you can see in this game there are 7 bots on each side. So yes, he's going to come up against some rather unusual opposition. Now the T1 Heavy has a 76mm gun, which is capable of doing 115 alpha and penetrating 128mm farming standard ammo. And with the premium APCR, it will do 177mm. But at Tier 5, and this is a Tier 5 game, he's hardly likely to need that unless he comes up against an enemy tank which actually has serious armour, such as a KV-222. But there is a KV-222 in the game, but it's on his team, so he doesn't need to worry about that. On the enemy team, they've got a KV-1 and a KV-1SA, and it looks like they spotted him across the bowl just as he went past the gap there. Now the T1 Heavy has heavy armour at the front of the vehicle, but it's fairly weak at the sides. So long as you keep your front to the enemy and the front of your turret to the enemy, it makes it fairly difficult for them to get penetration shots. Okay, he's making his way down to this western pass. Always good fun if there's Arty in the game because you can lob the shells in here, but no Arty in this game. Okay, the MSA1 is a bot, and he's just pumping the shells into him. And he's out the game. Okay, we've got Type 95 again, it's another bot. What's happening here? Rescue seems to be following the target. I know he's locked on. And he's gone. Very odd there, the rescue seems to be following the target automatically, but I mean that may be auto-aim. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, he spotted a number of enemy tanks, and he's already starting to bounce around, but one of those shots came from an M10 RPFM, and that is actually a live player. It's a premium. And there goes the 14 TP. So he's got another kill. That's his 3rd. The M5 Stewart is also a bot. Zooming in too much on it, using sniper view, and that AMX-40 is also a bot. I think the M5 Stewart is just moving too quickly for auto-aim, but you notice that the rescue seems to be following the M5 but not moving the turret at all. And now he's blasting those rounds into the AMX-40, the duck. Even with a 76mm gun, he can get through the tracks. He's having a bit of difficulty otherwise, but that one penetrated. He's now starting to receive damage from that MX-40, and the KV-1, who's a real player, just drove straight past him. That's one. Gonna have to back up a bit, otherwise that guy's gonna drive outside his field of view. Yeah, he's had to unlock on that one. The KV-1's carrying on, he's not even bothered. The M5 Stewart is now firing nothing but HE at him, which is unusual because the bots normally fire APCR if they cannot get through with the first round. And there's his 5th kill. The KV-1's coming back. Got him in the tracks. He's using a lot of auto-aim, and now he's being punished by the MX-40 on the enemy team. So we've got the KV-1, that was his top gun. Now there is, yeah, he keeps getting hit by the enemy bots, but he is taking rounds and he's losing hit points now. That SU-76 is a real player, so he needs to get rid of it quick, and he has. Okay, so he's got half his hit points left, and he's still being hit with HE rounds from the M8A1, but there's an M10 RBFM up ahead. Is that his or no? It's his. If he comes across that real M10 RBFM on the enemy team, he's going to have trouble. And in fact, he has. He's found him. And he needs to back away, but he's so tunnel visioned on the MX-40. Yeah. The M10 was up above. It was on the rise up above this area. And unfortunately, he was firing rounds down onto Red Dog Alpha 1, so there was nothing he could do. The M8A1, which is a bot, is going to go down. Yep, he's gone. In fact, now the only enemy left is the Leopard 1. I'm using free cam because unfortunately Red Dog Alpha 1's not following. And we can't see him, but he's somewhere along here. Running away. There he is. Well, he's met a BT7. And the BT7 was a bot, but the bot finished him off. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tanker game for Red Dog Alpha 1 in the T1 Heavy. He was using he got an Aslains because he set light to one of the enemy tanks. I think that was the Type 95, who then burned up, despite the fact that he pumped a few more rounds into his rear. He got a duelist as well for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him. A fine for effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle. A bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 16. And he also got a cool headed for surviving 10 or more ricochets and non-penetrations in a row. Well, if you've got fairly heavy armour, you can bounce a lot of rounds off the front of the vehicle. He also got a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and a top gun for getting at least 6 kills. He actually ended up with 7 at the end, but 1 short of getting that Radley's. Unfortunately, the M10 was sitting above him, looking down on him and shooting at him, and he was paying attention to the AMX-40 instead, and all of his hit points bled away. Rather unfortunate. I spotted that M10 earlier in the game. You remember I mentioned him because M10s have got that habit of actually getting heavy damage very, very quickly without you thinking about the fact that they're doing it. His win rate, 27,790, which is very high indeed, incredibly high. But I rather think that that also was helped by the fact that there were a number of bots in the game. Let's have a look at team score. Well, the highest damage in the game went to Red Dog Alpha 1 with 3,968. The second highest damage was the BDR-G1B with 1,890. And the third highest damage went to the T1 Heavy on the enemy team with 1,338. When it came to kills, yep, Red Dog Alpha 1 got that one with 7 kills. 4 kills went to the BDR-G1B and 2 kills went to the KB1SA on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, yep, he got the highest with that one, 1,678, the only player to get over 1,000. And the next highest was the BDR-G1B with 875, and the third highest, which is the KB222, who we didn't see much of during the game. He only got 1 kill and 616 hit points of damage, but with a tier 7 hull, you would have thought he would have been more noticeable. But he only got a base XP rather, of 496, which is, it's not quite a quarter, but it's certainly very, very low compared to Red Dog Alpha 1's score. Let's have a look at detail. He fired 44 shots. Well, you only get 90 rounds of ammo in a T1 Heavy, so he was just under half ammo fired. 40 direct hits on the enemy, 36 penetrations, 3,968 hit points of damage, all of it done at close range. 55 hits received from the enemy. Amazing. That's a huge number. Of those, only 9 penetrated, and most of the ones that did penetrate were actually the M10 RBFM and those tanks who kept hitting him at close range. The other ones, well, most of those were firing standard AP and couldn't get through his armor, or they were firing HE rounds. You can see him here, 19 non-penetrations. Those are the armor-piercing ones. And then 27 splash. And I think most of those went to the M5 and the AMX-40s, who kept firing at him, but just weren't getting through his armor. 1,845 hit points of damage blocked by armor. 7 enemy vehicles were spotted, 8 enemy vehicles were damaged, and 7 were killed. He earned 71,655 credits for the battle, 2,150 for holiday ops, 73,805 credits altogether. And after repair and ammunition resupply, and he didn't use his premium ammo, he ended up with a profit of 65,308 credits. 55 bonds for this being holiday ops and a mission achievement, and 2,517 XP, 10,068 from holiday ops completion, and 12,585 experience points altogether. You did use a lot of auto aiming during that battle, and it looked to me like the reticule was chasing the target all the time on auto aim, and it was giving me some rather odd views, which almost makes it look like it was an aimbot. Not that I think it is an aimbot, but I think, you know, you need to actually think about using standard view or even third-person view when you're fighting bots like that, and just aim using the third-person view, because otherwise, if you're in sniper view, very difficult to follow what's going on, and also to follow who's around you, because when you're surrounded by enemy tanks, they're all firing into you. If you try to stay in sniper view, you don't get a very good view, and it can actually be quite dangerous, because then people can sneak up behind you and start pumping rounds into your rear, and you don't know what's going on. But other than that, the other thing to remember is watch out for those M10 RBFMs. If you're at tier 5 and there's an M10 RBFM about, then you can lose a lot of hit points very, very quickly, because they will pen you, and they will strip you away of your hit points, well, in next to no time at all, because after all, they've got the same gun as the one you're using there on the T1 Heavy, 76mm, and I think they've got a higher alpha than you've got, so watch out for them. Other than that, good game. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.